of a female reporter who had called him out on misogyny, quote, "She had blood coming out of her eyes. She had blood coming out of her wherever." Kathy did not forget that disgusting remark, for which Trump has never apologized. Kathy teamed up recently with a photographer to mock Trump, our mocker-in-chief. What would it look like if his own insults were turned on him? Wearing a pussy bow blouse in a nod to his caught-on-tape bragging about grabbing women's genitals, she held up a Trump mask with fake blood coming out of the eyes and coming out of the wherever in full hyperbole with a stern look on her face. As she said in her social media posts accompanying the photo, quote, I captioned this, "There was blood coming out of his eyes, blood coming out of his wherever." It was a parody of Trump's own sexist remarks, taken to an extreme, absurdist visual. Like many edgy works of artistic expression, the photo could be interpreted different ways, and Kathy was fine with that. But Kathy never imagined that it could be misinterpreted as a threat of violence against Trump. That was never what she intended. She has never threatened or committed an act of violence against anyone. Her life's work is to make people laugh. And as soon as she learned that this is how it was being received, she was horrified, and she took down the picture, and she asked the photographer to take it down, and as fast as possible, she videoed a heartfelt apology, literally begging us for forgiveness. That should have been the end of it. Many male artists have created far more disturbing imagery. A Marilyn Manson music video shows him beheading a Trump figure. The band Municipal Waste has an image of Trump with a bloody gunshot to his head on a band t-shirt. The band GWAR has had violent images like this for president after president for years. They're all just considered bad boys. Unlike these male artists, Kathy apologized. Unlike these male artists, Kathy has endured the most powerful man in America and his family using their power to target her and her employers after she apologized. The president took a break from his busy schedule of tweeting nonsense words to target her satire, calling her sick. Melania Trump, who has remained silent about her husband's effort to deny health care to 24 million Americans, cut Meals on Wheels and Planned Parenthood, chose to break her silence on news events to personally challenge Kathy's mental health. Donald Trump Jr. took a break from killing leopards and elephants to hound CNN and its anchors on Twitter to try to get them not just to fire her, but to ban her from the network where she has worked for 10 years entirely, presumably forever. But that wasn't enough. He also targeted a children's book author in his tweets, suggesting that his followers contact the publisher to fire him because Don Jr. didn't like one of his jokes that was supportive of Kathy Griffin. The message is clear. Criticize the president, lose your job. And that's what happened to Kathy, and more. As a result of the first family's bullying of her and of those she does business with, Kathy has been vilified. She's been receiving a lot of death threats. She's had her personal website and her social media channels shut down, been fired from multiple jobs, and had multiple events canceled. The Secret Service has reached out to her. The Secret Service has reached out to a comedian. She has had to retain a criminal attorney who is here today, Dimitri Gorin. That's Dmitrygorin. And he can answer questions at the end about his work. For the first time in history that we are aware of, the President of the United States and his family is personally attempting to ruin a comedian. With any of the other. This has been a living nightmare for Kathy. She works hard, and she has millions of global fans, including me. But she lacks a TV network or a giant team behind her. And she has been suffering through this virtually alone, as every kind of vile threat has poured in. She has been advised not to leave her home, not to go online, not to receive deliveries, as the beatdown of Kathy Griffin rises to a crescendo. It stops here. It stops now. This is insane. Ted Nugent threatened to kill President Obama. Trump invited Ted Nugent to the White House. Trump does not realistically fear 56-year-old, 110-pound Kathy Griffin. Trump himself is currently facing 2 lawsuits for inciting violence at his rallies when he told his followers to, quote, knock the crap out of protesters or, quote, punch him in the face. Kathy has a First Amendment right to make whatever provocative art she chooses. Whether or not you get or like her artistic expression, in America, Kathy has the right to publicly parody the president. In Russia, feminist artists Pussy Riot were imprisoned for 2 years by Trump's buddy Putin. In the U.S., the Supreme Court has ruled in a series of long-standing bedrock constitutional cases that political satire is protected, and the government cannot retaliate against citizens for it. That's an important legal right that is now under attack as journalists, networks, and artists fear retribution from Trump and his administration. He is hoping for a chilling effect on artists like Kathy and other artists. He has said he wants to sue people who criticize him. Nope, that is authoritarianism, and we will not have it. Kathy has made a decision. She is not going to stop speaking out for women, for LGBT rights, for vets, and for others. She will continue to be the fierce, brutally honest shero that millions love. She will continue to push the edges of our comfort level and beyond, to challenge us and to make us think. Thank you for that, Kathy, because we need you right now. I stand with Kathy, and I will fight for her First Amendment right to create whatever art she chooses and oppose anyone who tries to punish her for it. And we will both continue to use our skills to resist Trump, whose budget would deny heat in the winter to poor people, cut grants to help poor kids go to college, cut funding for the arts, cut NPR, cut PBS, and cut medical research. We stand against his anti-science climate change denial and his dangerous withdrawal from the Paris Accord. Yesterday, just yesterday, Trump drafted a new order that would deny birth control benefits to hundreds of thousands of American women. His misogyny knows no bounds and cries out for all of us to express ourselves as forcefully as possible against him. It is Trump who should apologize for his blood coming out of her eyes, blood coming out of her wherever disgusting comment, which he has never done, and for being the most woman-hating and tyrannical president in U.S. history. Kathy Griffin will now make some comments. Kathy.
Thank you, Lisa. Hi, everybody. I'm Kathy Griffin. I am really nervous right now. I've never done a press conference. I don't really know how they work. Feel free to jump in. And when I get nervous, I like make jokes, so I'm probably gonna stumble and stuff.
She's gonna make some comments, and then we'll do questions. Okay?
I sort of had a speech prepared,
so
but
let her talk.
My notes are by the wayside. It's all off the cuff. Look, I'm not afraid of Donald Trump. He's a bully. I've dealt with older white guys trying to keep me down my whole life, my whole career. I'm a woman in a very male-dominated field. I love what I do. I love making people laugh more than anything in the world. And I have learned over the years that sometimes when you do stand-up, and I've done it in a war zone, and I've done it at Walter Reed Hospital, and I've done it at Carnegie Hall, sometimes people want, a joke that's out there and a little crazy. So regarding the image that I participated in, that apology absolutely stands. I feel horrible. I have performed in war zones. The idea that this, made people think of this tragedy, to have been touched by this tragedy is horrifying and it's horrible. Trust me, if I could redo the whole thing, I would have had a blow-up doll and no ketchup. I make mistakes. I'm an out there comedian. I'm an in-your-face comedian. But I just wanted to say, if you don't stand up, you get run over. And what's happening to me has never happened, ever, in the history of this great country, which is that a sitting president of the United States and his grown children and the First Lady are I feel personally, trying to ruin my life forever. Forever. You guys know him. He's never going to stop. I know him. Let me talk to a camera like I'm talking to him. And I might make a couple jokes because I'm super nervous. Everyone's pointing to their camera. I'll just, this one. All right, I'll sort of look in this direction. All right, so I know him. All right, so the Donald, it's me, the Kathy. And if you guys don't know this, if you meet him, he wants you to call him the Donald, which I've always thought was the weird. And I remember saying to him the first time, okay, I'm the Kathy, and that went right over his nest. Okay, that was a joke about his hair, but I have seen eggs in it. I think I've seen, allegedly, I am teasing the president because this is America, and you shouldn't have to die for it. The death threats that I'm getting are constant, and they are detailed, and they are serious, and they are specific. And today it's me, and tomorrow it could be you. So, yeah, I'm obnoxious.